Lule, the falcon hath borne my make away. He bare him off, he bare him down, he bare him into an orchard brown. Lule, the falcon hath borne my make away. And in that orchard there was an hall that was hanged with purple and pall. And in that hall there was a bed that was hanged with gold so red. Lule, the falcon hath borne my make away. And in that bed there lieth a knight, his wound is bleeding day and night. And by his bedside kneeleth the maid, and she weepeth both night and day. Lule, the falcon hath borne my make away. By his bedside standeth the stone, Corpus Christi written thereon. Lule, the falcon hath borne my make away. Bear him off, he bear him down. Lule, he bear him into an orchard brown. The falcon hath borne my make away. And in that orchard stands a stone. Lule, Corpus Christi writ thereon. The falcon hath borne my make away.
Thank you guys so much. So apparently I'm gonna do my best Ronn McFarlane impression since I have the mic, and that way the people at home can certainly hear all this. So there'll be a mix of some really interesting content today, and some interesting languages today. I will be doing this in early middle Scots. She looks over at her, is it something like that? Early middle Scots? Yeah? That's exactly it. Oh, I got it right. Early Middle Scots. So some of it will make sense and some of it will be inferred. But this is a little, I don't know, vibey love song called In a Garden So Green.
In a garden so green, on a May morning, heard I, my lady, plain of paramours. said she, my love so sweet, come you not yet, nor yet, hate you not me to meet amongst the floors. Hello-re, 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 I love my lusty love, hello-re, Lord. The sky's upspringest, the dew down dingest, the sweet lark singest, the roars of prime. 5 years subsprentice, joy to rest when 'tis lost my intent is, and gone's the time. Hello-re, 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 I love my lusty love, hello-re, Lord. Danger, my deed is false fortune, my feet is languor, my lead is, and hope I despair. Disdain my desire is, so strangeness my fear is, to seat out of wearies, do I fear. Hello-re, 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 I love my lusty love, hello-re, Lord. Then to my lady sweet did I my presence keep, singing my bird be belief, am I not yours? So in my armness too did I thy lusty Jew, and kissed her time as smooth, the night is ours. Hello-re, 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 I love my lusty love, hello-re, Lord. Hello-re, 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 I love my lusty love, hello-re, Lord. La 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 la. I'm just a poor wayfaring stranger, traveling through this world alone. There is no sickness, toil, nor danger in that bright world to which I go. 'Cause I'm going back to see my brother. I'm going back and no matter all. I'm only going over Jordan. I'm only going over home. I'm just a poor wayfaring stranger, traveling through this world of war. But there is no sickness or no danger in that bright world to which I go. 'Cause I'm going back to see my sister. I'm going back and no matter all. I'm only going over Jordan. I'm only going over home. I know dark clouds will hover o'er me. I know my path is rough and steep, but golden fields lie out before me, where my eyes no more will weep. 'Cause I'm going back to see my mother. I'm going back. I'm only going over Jordan. I'm only going over home. I'll soon be free from every trial. This form shall rest beneath the sod. I'll drop the cross of self-denial and enter in that home of God. 'Cause I'm going back to see my father. I'm going back. I'm only going over Jordan. I'm only going over home. I'm only going over home.
Thank you guys so much. So we move on. I'm looking over my shoulder. Yes. So one of the cool things, I come from a not this background. I do a little bit of everything. I've sung just about everything out there. And when Ronn some years back said, "Hey, do you want to come and sing with us?" I was like, And then he asked me for my range, and I sent him the full thing, and I'm like, I don't really like it up here, and the tone's weird, and and he's like, no, that's not what I said. And so they've broadened me, and brought me also weirdly back to things I love. So for example, This is, I believe, the 16th century version of a song that Zeppelin borrowed a little bit of for a hit of theirs, an instrumental called Black Mountainside, but this is its 16th century origin.
When morning fair thought to take the air down by Blackwater side, 'twas gazing all around me. 'Twas the Irish lad I spied. All through the first part of the night, we lay in sports and play. And then this young man, he arose, and he gathered his clothes, and he said, "Fare thee well today." Well, that's not the promise that you gave to me when first you lay upon my bed. You could make me believe with your lying tongue that the sun rose in the west. Well, then go home to your father's garden. Go home and weep your fill. And you think of your own misfortune that you brought with your wanton will. For there's not a girl in this whole wide world as easily led as I. Well, sure as fishes they will fly, and the seas run dry. 'Tis then that you will marry I.
Thank you all so much. I'm going to depart the stage so that I can watch these absolutely stunning musicians just burn this room to the ground, sonically speaking.
No pressure, right? one about a maiden going to sell her barley, who's off, and she encounters a man who is up to no good. As we know, all men, or most men, to a certain amount of no good. So it's a story of what happens in their encounter and the way she fends him off. So hope you enjoy the story of Cold and Raw.
I like that I've been playing with you just long enough now that I heard your brain pull the word gentleman and then go, but he's not, though, and say something different. I was like, oh, I heard the click.
Cold and raw the north did blow, bleak in the morning early. All the fields were covered in snow, daggled by winter yearly. Gentlemen riding o'er the heather met with a farmer's daughter. Her rosy cheeks and her bonny brow, they made his mouth to water. Quickly he saluted me, meaning to shew his breeding. Bowed to him right gracefully, his courtesy exceeding. He asked me where I went so soon and longed to begin a parley. Told him to the next market town, a purpose to sell my barley. In this purse, sweet girl, says he, 20 pounds lie fairly. Seek no further one to buy, for I'll take all your barley. 20 more would buy delight your body I love so dearly. If you would lay with me all night and go home in the morning early. If 20 pounds could buy the globe, it's this I'll never do, sir. Were my kin as poor as Job, would not raise them so, sir. If I lay with you this night, we'll get a young child together, and we'll be where the 9 months end, and where shall I find a father? Pray, what would my parents say if I should be so silly? Give my maiden head away, lose my true love Billy. This would lead me to disgrace, therefore I say you nay, sir. If that you would me embrace, first marry and then you may, sir. He told me he had married been 14 years and longer, else he'd take me for his own, tie the knot much stronger. Bade him then no further roam, manage his wedlock fairly, keep his gold for his wife at home, and some other shall have my barley.
So this next piece, Trois Corbees, is one of the oldest pieces on our program. Trois Corbees means a couple of blackbirds or ravens. And this is in very early Middle Scots. So some of the dialect is a little hard to understand. So I'll just give you a short synopsis. there are a couple of ravens sitting on a branch, talking with one another one morning, and they're wondering, what are we going to do today? How are we going to have our breakfast? And one raven sees a dead knight lying out in the field. Yum, they thought. So they observed that the hounds that the knight had gone off running. His mate had taken another man, and his hawks, though hunting with hawks back in the day, they had flown away. So he was all by himself. So the ravens hatched a plan that they'll go down and land on his chest, and one will pluck out his bonny blue eye, thank you, and the other will pull out a lock of his yellow hair, blonde hair apparently, and that they would use the hair to make their nest nice and warm and cozy for the winter. And that's the happy ending of the story. And they say Scots were a doer people.
As I was walking all alone, I spied twa corbies mocking me. The ane unto the other did say, oh, where shall we gang and dine the day? Oh, where shall we gang and dine the day? Down by yon old Valdyke, there lies a new slank knight, and none to ken that he lies there, oh. But his hawk and his hound and his lady fair, oh. His hawk and his hound and his lady fair. His hound is to the hunt and gain, his hawk to fetch the wildfowl hame. His lady's taken another mate, so we may make our dinner sweet, so we may make our dinner sweet. You'll sit on his White House bane, I'll pike out his bonny blue wine. We'll lack his yellow hair, oh. We'll pick our nest when it grows bare, oh. We'll pick our nest when it grows bare. And many iron for him makes mowing, but none to ken where he is going, or his white bones when they are bare, oh. The wind shall blow forevermore, oh. The wind shall blow forevermore. As I was walking all alone, I spied twa corbies mocking me. The ane unto the other did say, oh, where shall we gang and dine the day, oh? Where shall we gang and dine the day, oh? The wind shall blow forevermore, oh. The wind shall blow forevermore.
So I believe we've got one more in this set, and then we're going to take a teeny tiny little break. This is, again, that intersection of sort of a lot of classic rock. Stole borrowed? We're going to call stole borrowed the word of the day. Stole borrowed from songs of the 16th century, and so you may be familiar with this song as a traffic song, but is also a slightly grim retelling of the process of the growing of barley and the making of Scotch whiskey. Did I do okay?
You did great.
This is like my audition to be able to intro the songs.
There were three men came out of the west, their fortunes for to try. And these three men made a solemn vow: John Barleycorn must die. They plowed, they sowed, they heralded men, threw clouds upon his head. And these three men made a solemn vow: John Barleycorn was dead. They let him lie for a very long time, till the rains from heaven did fall, and little Sir John sprung up his head, and so amazed them all. They let him stand till Midsummer's Day, till he looked both pale and wan. And little Sir John, he grew a long beard, and so became a man. They hired men with a scythe so sharp to cut him off at the knee. They rolled him and tied him by the waist, serving him most barbarously. They hired men with the sharp pitchforks who pricked him to the heart, and the loader he served him worse than that, for he bound him to the cart. They hired men with the crabtree sticks who cut him skin from bone, and the miller he served him worse than that, for he ground him between two stones. And little Sir John in the nut brown bowl, and whiskey in the glass. And little Sir John in his nut brown bowl proved the strongest man in last. And the huntsman, he can't talk the facts, nor so loudly blow his horn. And the tinker Mary can't mend kettles nor pots without a little barley corn.
Again, thank you so much for coming out and spending your Sunday, early evening with us. So this will be where I have to reach deep into my what do I remember Ron said about this song. I believe this song was actually penned by Henry VIII. Before he was in the wife marrying and beheading business.
Before he became kind of a monster. But yeah, he was still a young, athletic guy. He'd only been married once.
Wow, okay.
And yeah, it's just a very upbeat song about spending time with your friends. Good time.
So imagine all those, paintings you've seen, right? Imagine all the paintings you've seen of Henry VIII and him flitting about singing this, because that's what I imagine while I'm singing it.
Pastime with good company, I love and shall until I die. Grudge who lust, but none deny. So God be pleased, thus live will I. For my pastimes, hunt, sing, and dance, my heart is set. All goodly sport, for my comfort, who shall me let? Youth must have some dalliance of good or ill, some pastance. Company methinks and best, were thoughts and fancies to digest. For idleness is chief mistress of vices all. Then who can say, but mirth and play is best of all. Is virtue, vices to flee. Company is good and ill, but every man hath his free will. The best ensue, the worst eschew. My mind shall be virtue to use, vice to refuse. Thus shall I use me.
So I didn't come out of this tradition, so I didn't have a lot of songs to bring into the band, but interestingly enough, I had this one to bring in because people know a thing about me, which is I love murder ballads. I think they're very interesting, and there is a very interesting cultural heritage of murder ballads. So I play in like a much more like alt rock folk band called Illigami. We're actually going to do a show all together where we will combine both bands. It's pretty neat. We're going to do that May 12th at the Institute of Musical Traditions. I can give you more information about that. But I got tapped because of the murder ballad program I had done, Murder Ballads, Why Did the Women Always Die, to do a Celtic Halloween show. And the person who was doing it very much wanted to do one where the women weren't all just dying, and chose very interesting songs. And in this one, it was like, it sounded so dark, and I went to the guy and I said, I'm not quite sure I understand, like, you know, he takes her behind the hill, and I get what's probably supposed to happen here, but when does the bad thing happen? And he's like, no, they get married. I was like, really? And I went back and read it, and it's the lyrical equivalent of that, the thing about grammar, where the comma really makes a difference. In this case, it's the breath. If you take the breath in the wrong place, he strangles her. If you take the breath in a different place, they get married. So, I will breathe with lives in mind. This is a song called Rary's Hill.
Last year at Lady Mary's Fair, when I was in Dundee, I fell in with an old sweetheart, he being on the spree. His company I did accept, and with him I did go, all to my sad misfortune. It proved my overthrow. We wandered east, we wandered west, we wandered around the lawn. He said he'd see me home that night, but home I never saw. He kept beside me all the way, resolved to have his will. And by we lost our way at the back of Rary's Hill. And then my lad, he said to me, oh, the night is cold, you can't go home tonight, my dear, it's far or late, you see. But the night is warm, and in my pouch I have another chill. So let us lie down here content at the back of Rary's Hill. And when we had another nip to quiet our alarm. And when we woke in the morning, we were round in each other's arms. He handed me the bottle, another glass to fill, and I drank his health and his store of wealth at the back of Rary's Hill. And then my lad, he said to me, lassie, do not mourn, for while I draw the breath of life from you, I will not turn. And if you will consent this day, wedded life to be. We'll be the happiest couple yet was ever in Dundee. So may I never prosper, may I never thrive in anything I take in hand, as long as I'm alive. If I should say I rule the day, my lad, he had his will. Success to Lady Mary's fair and the back O'Reilly's hill. Success to Lady Mary's fair and the back O'Reilly's hill.
This one I know nothing about.
Yeah, this is one that I wrote. Actually wrote it for my father. My dad was born in rural West Virginia, Scots-Irish heritage, and lived in a part of West Virginia that had a lot of coal mining. A small town called Camden-on-Golly. It's called Camden-on-Golly because it was Camden on the Golly River. And when he was very small, probably only about this tall or so, he would walk by a local tavern on his way home from school. And every day he would see on just over the door, it said no miners allowed. Which he thought was very unfair because he knew some coal miners who seemed like perfectly good people. And it wasn't until much later that he learned English and the difference between a miner and a miner. But at any rate, that's where he comes from. He thought that he would learn fiddle. But he got interested in agriculture, got interested in education, he had a completely different career. And then when he retired, he got a fiddle and thought, now I'm going to learn to play sort of like this old style Scots-Irish music that he had heard as a kid. And then he got interested in gardening and in Maryland soil conservation and volunteering for various things. So basically, he never learned how to play the fiddle, and that was that. So this piece, W. Lee's Reel, is the kind of thing I hope he might have played if he had ever learned how. So it's a tune, and this is the absolute debut.
Why would you say that?
My playing this piece in a particular way.
I've never played guitar on that in public, is what he was trying to say right before I started for the very first time in front of people. Yes.
In Newry town I was bred and born. In Stephen's Green now I lie in scorn. I served me time at the saddler's trade. I always was a roving blade. I always was a roving blade. At 17 I took a wife. I loved her dearer than I loved me life. And so to keep her both fine and gay, I went out robbing on the King's Highway. I went out robbing on the King's Highway. I never robbed a poor man yet, nor lately caused anyone to fret. But I robbed lords and ladies fine, and I carried the gold home to me heart's delight. Well, I carried the gold home to me heart's delight. I robbed Lord Baldwin, I do declare, and Lady Manswell up in Grosvenor Square. I closed me shutters and bid them good night, and I carried the gold home to me heart's delight. I carried the gold home to me heart's delight. To Covent Garden I made my way, with my dear wife for to see the play. The fieldlings men there did me pursue, and I was taken by that cursed crew, and I was taken by that cursed crew. My father cried, oh me darling son. My wife she cried, now I am undone. My mother tore her grey locks and cried, it's in the cradle I should have died. It's in the cradle I should have died. And when I'm dead I want for my grave a flashy funeral, pray let me have 6 highwaymen for to carry me. Oh, give them broadswords and liberty. Oh, give them broadswords and sweet liberty. It's becoming one of my favorite ones because it's just like, I feel very like it to be like roguish, you know. So in a continuing, this band just wants to give me more and more and more uncomfortable things to do. This next, it really is. No, and it's true, you know. Great musicians should challenge you, and they've challenged me in some interesting ways. For example, my last name is Lloyd, which is Welsh for grey.
My name was always leading me to you. I don't know if you know this. My first name is Heather, my middle name is Aubrey, and my last name is Lloyd. So my first name is Heather, which is, Heather Gray, or the flowers of the moors. Aubrey is Gaelic for elf king, and Lloyd is Welsh for gray. So I was always meant to be here. I did not know I would ever speak or sing Welsh in my life, and here we are. Beyond that, Ronn might have to tell you the origin, and right now my ancestors are somewhere very angry at me.
So this is a lament for the last native Prince of Wales, who was executed by the English king, Edward Longshanks.
Oh, yay, they reacted too.
Braveheart fame, of course. He was a real king. He did real things. Some of them were good, some of them weren't so good. And he executed this David in 1283. And so this is a lament for his death. And it asks about David, are you among the flowers? And talks about various allusions to nature. But essentially, it's just a very beautiful, mournful lament for David.
Doi-dee-die, bleeth die flodder, doi-dee-die. Doi-dee-die, bleeth die flodder, doi-dee-die. Dama floating back in oilo, liwun hoirag, wed yadrigo, dagaraya, sid ararido, will dee die. Pwy for plannu blod thy gwelfion westi thy. Pwy for plannu blod thy gwelfion westi thy. Na hadzabia rosa tanse for a fee. In thy plannu blod thy dol pwy plano trai westi thy. Pwy for plannu blod thy gwelfion westi thy. Pwy for plannu blod thy gwelfion westi thy. Na hadzabia rosa tansea for a fee. In thy plannu blod thy dol pwy plano trai westi thy. Doi-dee-die, bleeth die flodder, doi-dee-die. Doi-dee-die, bleeth die flodder, doi-dee-die. Down my floating back in oilo, Liwen hoirak Wed yadrigo Dagaraya Sid adarido Will he die?
We played this extremely fancy gig, one of my first big gigs out, where it was sort of a classical music society, and they had food, and the food was, paired with the music, and there was a thermostat, and the only rule was you were not allowed to touch, breathe, do anything near the thermostat because the Steinway ruled all. And I was like, I am not fancy enough for this gig. And what was fascinating is we were probably, I would imagine, the single most raucous thing they had ever had in there. And this was the moment, this song was the moment I thought, oh, are we rock stars in the classical world? Is this what that is? Okay.
Nottingham town, not a soul to be seen, not a soul would look up, not a soul would look down, not a soul would look up, not a soul would look down, to show me the weight of their Nottingham town. The king and the queen and the company more came riding behind and marching before. Come a stark naked drummer beating a drum. His hands in his bosom came marching along. In Nottingham town, not a soul to be seen, not a soul would look up, not a soul would look down. Not a soul would look up, not a soul would look down, to show me the weight of their Nottingham town. I bought me a horse, 'twas called the Grey Mare, grey mane and grey tail, green stripe on her back, grey mane and grey tail, green stripe on her back. Not a hair upon her that was not coal black. She stood so still, threw me to the dirt. She tore at my eye, bruising my shirt. From saddle to stirrup, I mounted again. And on my 10 toes I rode over the plain. In Ottoman town, not a soul to be seen. Not a soul would look up, not a soul would look down. Not a soul would look up, not a soul would look down. To show me the way to thin Ottoman town.